Hello, this is Sensei Blaine Court from Total Self-Defense Center in Anderson, California. Today I'd like to do our first video talking about some self-defense strategies. This will be an ongoing series. We hope to have a video up on each topic about once a week. So we'll have 3 different series that are coming out. We're going to have a self-defense where we're going to talk about practical things that you can do to actually keep yourself safe while you're out and about in your daily life. We will have a video talking about different ways of interacting with our children and maybe some good ideas and strategies and tips for that. And the final thing will be training aids and some things that you can do either to grow yourself in your own martial art or to help a child with what they're working on. So today, what I want to start off with is something known as Colonel Jeff Cooper's color code, or Cooper's color code. This was developed by a man in the military, Colonel Cooper, who's in the Marine Corps, and he had realized that we needed a systematic way of addressing not only threats, but of managing stress level, because those are very closely connected. So what he developed, the original system had fewer colors. There are some that have more. I prefer the 5-color system that you can see here to my side. I apologize if you're not able to read it. I will include a link later on. At the end of this video, if you found it useful or helpful, please comment, like, and share. Even an emoji, anything helps. And let's get this shared around for people. So back to the color code. The color code that we use, Colonel Jeff Cooper's color code, it goes from black, all the black, red, orange, yellow, and white. From most severe to least severe. And we'll come back to this on a number of videos in the future. I'm going to give a quick overview of what the color code is, and then in each video we'll talk about each color, what's going on there, what shouldn't be going on there, and some things to be aware of. Okay, so first of all, like I already mentioned, the Colonel Cooper's color code, or the Cooper's color code, is a system of managing stress and your preparedness and readiness to defend yourself or to engage in combat, which was the original intent. It is organized, if you go from the bottom to the top, white all the way through black. Originally it went white through red, and so white being the least aware of what we're going to talk about today, yellow, orange, red, and black. So it's important to know that the overall idea is to help give us some framework or grid work of what we should be doing at certain zones, where we should be, when we shouldn't be in certain zones, and how we can manage both the actions that we take and the stress that comes from each of those zones. So today I want to talk about the white zone, which is one sometimes unfortunately people tell you should never be there. Well, that's actually incorrect. So our white zone, if you could read here, it says white, you're unaware potential victim. The white zone is when you are relaxed, you are not taking any of your active steps to try and protect yourself. And during the course of these videos, we're also going to compare empty hand self-defense versus some type of armed defense. We'll talk primarily about carrying a firearm, but that could also be mace or pepper spray or something along those lines. So in that white zone, we are not prepared to defend ourselves. So if we're talking about empty-handed, my awareness, my situational awareness of what's going on around me has reduced to nothing, or practically nothing. If we're talking about weapons, firearms, the weapon is not with you, or the weapon is not prepared to fire. A pistol or a semi-automatic without a bullet is just a paperweight, doesn't do you much good. So that white zone, you might mistakenly look at it and just say, hey, this is something bad, we don't ever want to be here. That's not necessarily true. The higher our state of readiness is, the more stress that it creates on our body, and white is a good time, is where we need to be to bleed that off. So when and where is a good time to be in the white zone? The way that I choose to look at it, what we teach our students, is if I can point at a specific person or a specific thing and go, I am safe because of that thing, or that person is keeping me safe, and it's something that will happen without my intervention, then that's an appropriate time. So typically that happens when we're at home, we're in bed, we're in our house, our doors are locked. I can point at the structure of the home and say, this is what is providing my safety, my structure. When I go to sleep, well, how am I safe? I've locked my doors, locked my windows, I've ensured that those things are safe. That then gives me a good time for my body to rest and recuperate from even the normal stress that we experience on a daily basis. The problem with white zone, and everybody has seen somebody in this zone, and many of us, if we're honest, we've experienced being in it ourselves, is when you're outside of your home and you're completely checked out to the environment around you. Whether that is you are on your cell phone as you're walking, whether that is you're so distracted, you're so busy in what's going on in your head that you're not thinking about it. Any of those things really create these type of problems. When you see somebody stumble into a curb or walk into a doorway, anything, those are the huge signs that that person's walking around in the white zone. But it's possible to have your head up and be moving and still not be there. When we're moving around, we want to be focused and present in our environment. Not to say that we want to walk around afraid or frightful of something going on, but if we're outside of our home, we want to be experiencing what's going on around us. That way we are prepared for the next transition up, which is yellow, which is that stage of being aware of what's going on. So once again, on the white zone, that's something that we need to be able to do. We need to be able to have a time and space where I can relax, or where you can relax and let your stress go. But I need to be able to point at specific things and say, I am safe because of this person or this thing. During my time in the Marine Corps, sometimes we would sleep out in the field. Okay, there's nothing there protecting us, but somebody was on duty. I could point at that Marine and say, it's your time, okay? It's your job right now to keep the rest of us safe while we sleep. And that's a pretty good example. And then we make that choice then to slip down into the white zone, go to sleep, zip up our sleeping bag. Same thing when we're at home. When you're at home, you close these things down, you close up the zipper, think about camping. When you close up the door, you are able to then relax and bleed off that stress. So the next time when we come back, we're going to talk about yellow, which is going to be the zone where we're going to want to operate most of the time when we're outside of our house. And we'll talk about the firearms situation and the pepper spray and any of those type of things and where that comes in. Once again, like I said, in the white zone, both situationally and my tools are not available to me. So I could also be in the white zone if I'm a defensive carrier and my thought is to use my firearm for self-defense. If I don't have that with me and that's my primary form of defense, regardless of how much I'm paying attention, if that's my only defensive skill, I put myself in the white zone. Same thing with pepper spray or any other defensive tool that you choose to engage with. So once again, this is Colonel Cooper's color codes. This is not something that we've created, but we do implement it in our classes. It's important to remember that if you have some type of defensive training, you want to make sure that if you have multiple different trainings, that they correlate together and they work together and they're not fighting against each other. I most certainly don't want to end up in a situation where one half of my training, my empty hand, tells me I should grab somebody and roll around on the ground, and then on the other hand, I have firearms training and I'm being taught I need to move away from them and create space. Those two things are not compatible. So we will come back. We'll talk about those more in future episodes. All right, thank you very much. Once again, if you found this useful or helpful, please like, comment, and share, and we appreciate it very much. This is Sensei Blaine Court from the Total Self-Defense Center in Anderson, California.